Well, build my gallows and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Longbangers in association with Leith Spirits. I'm Mike.
Hiya, I'm Colin.
Hello, I'm the artist, also known as Kirby Nisbet.
Good evening to you both. John, how are you doing?
I'm good. It's been a pleasant weekend. I was playing rounders yesterday, and I was running at my mate's McBee's today, chatting shit about Hibs, and wee laddies farting on me. I can get into the details further if you're interested.
That's probably
maybe I'll just leave it.
Somebody,
hanging,
I think,
hanging
Colin?
Mysteriously out there like the scent of his fucking fart.
Colin, how are you?
I'm good, mate. Aye, I'm good. How are you?
Aye, not bad. Much less annoyed than I thought it would be. Like after the game, which we'll go into detail. Whether I was quite annoyed early on in the game, and then sort of, I don't know, rationality took over, and I was like, "Came up."
We expected to lose the other day, didn't we? Right? We got in the unseeded pot. We drew the hardest game that we could have. This is what we expected.
Exactly, and we'll start at the start. Let's get the starting lineup up. A couple of changes. I'll get it up on the screen, and then we can. We can talk about what we thought about it and what we thought about the game. Right. So first of all, you can see the team lineup on there. Yeah? No,
no.
Come on.
You're sharing the phone in by the looks of things for the other night.
How that's weird. Right, let me just stop that then, and let's try.
Oh,
again.
yeah, it was that and no the other fucking browser.
PII.
page.
No, there's nothing like that on here. Why did it do that? I wonder. Let's go again. Desktop 2. That's what I thought I was sharing. You see it now?
Yes.
Yes, there we go.
That's
right.
stripping smart as fuck, eh?
It is a cracking strip, isn't it? And we have a link on our Twitter. We'll share it again. If you want to buy one, click our relink and you get free postage on it. I think that offer's still going. If it's not, don't blame me.
I actually think it's nicer than the original that it's based on.
I think it is. I think it's an upgrade. And it's sacrilege for some folk to way. So that is like a really highly regarded strip. But I think I said just before this one came out, when there was the rumours about it being the stripes, that I always thought the old one was a wee bit overrated. Like, it was smart, but I didn't get the deep love for it. And then this one came out, I was like, actually, that's a fucking ass strip, that.
Yeah.
Anyway, team. Bursic in goals. We had Miller, Ekpateta, Ahora, Boyle, Newell, Abita, Mariah Welsh back in, Campbell, Rocky, and Kuharevic, which we're going with this week, John.
Yeah.
Does that mean that I'm going for Kuharevic instead, just to keep it consistent? Or keep it inconsistent?
Go with Kuharevic. Yeah, that's what we've got on the team sheet.
Yes, I've worn you down with politeness over time.
So Rocky came back into the team. We started with 3 at the back. Levitt dropped out. And who was the other change for last week?
Mariah Welsh came in.
So Mariah Welsh came in for Levitt.
Rocky came in.
Who did we drop for Rocky? Okay, well, I knew this earlier on, and I was just when we sat down to talk about it, I'm like, who did we have? Right, I don't have a look on the bench. Molotnikov. Rudy was on there. Aye, Rudy dropped out. So we said Rudy for Mariah Welsh and Levitt for Rocky, and then we changed the formation. There we go, we got there. Colin, what did you think of the team when it came out?
I thought I was glad there was 3 or 5 at the back. I thought it was more a 5 at the back than a 3 at the back. There was 3 centre halves with the 2 full backs, wing backs. I was okay with that.
And the personnel?
I'm not sure, because I thought Molotnikov done well last week, so I would have maybe persisted with him. But Mariah Welsh coming in, I can't remember if it was us talking about it last week or no, but you're saying that energy and all that you would expect him to bring, because that's really all we've seen from him since he's been here. That's kind of what we needed. And I would have been wanting him or Molotnikov to maybe sit on McGregor, try and quieten him down. So I was okay with it, I think. Other than like, you still thinking, man, we're getting all these fucking signings in the team. Of course, one of them plays for Celtic, and Nicky Cadden made the bench. As did Bowie. So I don't know. I don't know if he should have played after his wee clip last week. You know, that'd be 20 minutes last week, but then you would be he played 2 up front. But although I would have maybe played him ahead of Boyle. I think Boyle's bringing much to now.
I think Kevin was fit enough for it. He said in his pre-match press conference on Wednesday or Thursday, whatever day it was, that he was still a bit behind and he didn't expect to start because where he was with his fitness. I think that was
missing pre-season and that.
I think that was why it was the thing with Kendall getting players in early and everything that everybody was talking about.
Yeah.
That's what has an impact. John, what about you? What did you think of the team?
I've got a wee bit of an issue with the squad numbers. We've got Jojo 11, Mariah Wells 22, Rocky 33, and there's a big gap all the way up to Kuharevic in 99. I think we need to plug that away, 44, 55, etc. And I think we're looking like a better outfit.
Who's your actual number 9? The squad number 9?
Fenty.
Oh, he's away. But the missed over, otherwise he would have probably taken 9. Yeah.
So he's got the double 9. Mind there, Ireland did that. He wanted 10, but 10 was already taken. I can't remember who hit 10. Was it Nish, maybe?
Nish.
Aye. And so
did you see the game? Were you watching
Premier Sports? Premier Sports, I watched it on aye.
Celtic TV at half time put classic games on. And it was obviously Celtic won them all, but it was good to watch. It was all like it was old school with Brown and Fletcher scored an absolute fucking raker in a 3-2 defeat. I think I watched that behind the goals or something before it was called behind the goals, like a pay-per-view. Things like 2005, and Nish was running about one of them, the number 10 on aye.
Very good. John, numbers aside, were you happy with the lineup?
I think so. I think, like Colin said, there was. I think there was a need to change what we'd done last week because last week just hadn't really worked out. I think maybe apart from a short spell around about the 60th minute for about 5-10 minutes where we looked like we might start coming back into it. And I think it backs up what David Gray said when he was appointed as kind of horses for courses. Oh, I mean, I know that sounds a little bit odd given the team that we faced, but I think if he'd gone out with the same team that he started with last week, the more nervous amongst the support, the more critical amongst the support would be seizing on that as a look, he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing narrative.
I was quite happy with the team. I think there would have been a question mark for me over Campbell after who he played last week, but I don't think we had an alternative on the bench. I think Milotnikov. But I think he went off last week with a bit of a knock, didn't he? So I think he maybe never had the 90 minutes in him either, which is why he went down to the bench. That's what I think anyway. I don't think Levitt could have any complaints about dropping out the team either. I think if it was a performance thing, Milotnikov would have a case to be a wee bit upset about it because he definitely had a bigger impact on last week's game than Campbell did. But I thought with the players that had available, going to the 3 at the back, like the 3 centre halves, I thought the team lineup looked all right.
Can I get your thoughts just before you move on Ahora's right arm? Is it an optical illusion or does it look a good bit bigger than his left arm, like the bicep?
I think you could draw your own conclusions as to why that is. Like, I think
the angle of the camera. That's my conclusion.
If you compare your right arm to the left arm, which one do you think would have more power in it?
Bicep or forearm?
Well, just go for the whole arm. That is what I said. Fine.
I thought
this was forearm territory.
Biomechanics and like Mikey Stewart. Right. Let's get to the game. John, coming to you first. So I think we're going to spend a long time talking about the talking points tonight. So if we can just summarise the game as you saw it, John, and then I'll get the same for you, Colin, and then we'll rattle out the talking points, which I think will cover all the kind of key aspects of the game anyway.
Summary. I think, like the Scottish weather, we probably saw 3 or 4 versions of the Hibs team today. I thought there was an improvement, and as much as we went longer than 2-3 minutes today without conceding a goal, we managed to go, what was it, 3 minutes 53 seconds. I thought we looked pretty poor for the first sort of 25, maybe 30 minutes. Didn't look like it looked like we were maybe going to be in on the end of on an absolute doing. Got the goal, really good finish for Kuharevic. Started to look like we were coming back into it. Started to look like a more confident, comfortable team on the ball. Then had an absolute fucking howler for a third, which just ruined it. So McBee, who I spent the afternoon with, heard this earlier. I gave him my short summary, which was, and it was backing up what he'd suggested, which was, know that you would have taken 3-1 at the start of the game, but you might have looked at the scoreline afterwards and went, it's the champion. Like, there's a lot being made about Myko not having had to make a save, etc. But actually, if you start drilling down into the final details of it, you go, fuck it, 2-1, like, we still had a chance. And then we go and shoot ourselves in the foot with an absolute howler of an error, and the game was over by that point. So what was that, about 70 minutes or whatever?
Well, what about you?
Similar. I mean, I was hoping we would have a better start this week, and we didn't. You know, like 2-0 down, what was it, 15-20 again? Same as last week. Feels like the game's done. And it was it felt like one-way traffic, really. Like, they just felt like they were toying with us until we got the goal, which was a cracking header, which was obviously the save that Schmeichel had to make and did they make. But then, like, and then the start of the second half, you're thinking, I was listening to, watching Celtic TV, and they were having the conversations like, how we not put them out of sight. Like, I'm paraphrasing obviously, but that's like the conversations we have when we're battering a team at home who are just sitting in and not really trying, and they're still in the game. And I thought, we're still in this fucking game. Could maybe get a draw here, or, you know, sneak another one, maybe get a penalty. As crazy as that sounds, get a Parkhead, but there might be a chance. And then the basics, that fucking pass the back stuff that cost us last season, and it's cost us a game here, because I didn't get it. Like, why teams? It's because Pep does it, and doing there, Pep started it, or Barcelona started it. That's how long ago when he was there, and now it's the norm, even for teams that haven't got players that can do it. Like, they've not got centre midfielders playing at centre half to be able to do it. So, yeah. Didn't he do it?
Well, Hibs have got plenty of centre midfielders, but we didn't have the centre midfielders that are able to do it.
We obviously had a booking right at the start of the game as well. Like, exactly the same as last week's. I say exactly.
There's a booking,
of course it is. Yeah, like, I have no complaints about it. Mariah Welsh. So I've no complaints about the booking. I don't think it was necessary. I think Mariah Welsh could have gone back further, where I would try to play that fairly.
It was quite deep. Aye.
It's one of these ones, right? So if he does that though, and he doesn't get it right, and they score, everybody goes, fucking foul him at halfway.
Right, take him.
So, right, so I kind of get it, but it did feel like at that stage of the game a wee bit unnecessary, because I thought that nullified Mariah Welsh as well, because you can see he couldn't staff into tackles or really take any chances after that, and he was pretty ineffective. Beyond that,
because we were watching it, and Carol said, she said, why did he jump out that? I went, he's on a booking. Like, that's why he's deliberately no left his foot in there. He might have normally. Still, it's good for my prediction though. I'm pretty sure I've got him doing his most bookings.
The race yellows, I think you're probably. I thought, did I say Neil for it? Neil's always good for a booking, but he never got one today, which is good.
But he'll play more games.
Yes. We can see early again. It's down our left hand side. If you were to pick apart the goal, John, don't know how clearly you remember it. Where did it go wrong, or Colin, whoever wants to take it? From memory, where did you think we went wrong with that goal?
I've got the idea. Colin, fill the gap, because I'm trying to remember.
I can't remember much about the goal. Describe the goal to me again.
So the ball goes in behind Obita.
Oh shit! Yeah. Aye.
So Obita sort of switched off with the man running past him, more or less, right. And I think it was Kuhn, who laid across the box, and Maida gets in ahead of Pateta just to
Clucks
score
it
it.
over Bursic.
I mean, it's good finish, good attacking play.
It wasn't great for a beater.
No, we have a real problem in the team with players just no concentrating. Miller nearly got caught out a couple of times with in that first half. Beater gets caught out there. But actually, Celtic's strength when they're attacking is their movement. And our weakness is our movement when we're defending. You see it. Well, we saw last week, saw it again this week. It's just, I don't know. I wonder what your thoughts are. I'll ask you first, Colin. Is that an ability issue? Is it concentration or is it work rate?
I don't think it's ability. I think it's no work rate. Concentration's a bit like, I don't, because it can't be tired that early in the game, right?
No.
So you could say it's they're tired and they've switched off a wee bit. So it's an actual thing. It's like, I don't think so. I don't think it's work rate, and I don't think it's ability. Like, I think we know they're good players. Most of them, I think we agree, most of them are good players. And what's that? Fucking 5 minutes in or something? 10 minutes in? I can't mind how early it was. Early.
Well, it was within the first 5 minutes when we conceded.
Aye, 3 minutes or something. Aye. So
yeah.
So they're not tired yet. So it's actually just a mental. It's something up here, isn't it? It's something in the head. It's no
concentration then.
Aye, concentration, but I was still, obviously concentration, but I was trying to give it. I think you said there's the lack of concentration due to work rate or ability.
Oh no, I was asking whether it was. Is it because they're not? Is it because they're not good enough? Because they don't work hard, or because they lost concentration?
Aye, no, it's because of concentration, definitely. No excuses other than that. It's too early for it to be anything else.
But it's not just a beat. I think Pateta needs to do better with Maida's run as well. I think the goalie's at fault for that one. The goalie's coming back.
A good striker's got to make their runs in that. So again, a defender might get caught out now and again like that. No, because they're maybe not as quick, or a striker's been alert, and that's just the game. I think that's why strikers get paid a lot more money than defenders. Whereas I think the beater one is like they went, oh fuck, like he's not paying attention somehow, thinking about something else, like where I get the ball and got to run up the wing, or whatever it is, like daydreaming.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that Pateta was. I think it's just that the striker's better than him.
Just a better run. Okay. The second goal, John, was ball clipped into space over the top of the defence. Maida's
was almost identical to the first, albeit the ball was more, like you say, it was more over the top, less down the channel, and I think Maida kind of stretches for it and knocks it under Bursic.
So completely different for the first.
Not entirely different. It was in the same direction. Still ended up in the back of the net.
Same side
one's a cutback and one's a ball over the top. They're not the same.
I think it was the initial ball to the over the top of. Was it not over the top of a beater? Bear in mind the caveat. Yeah, the caveat is that I could barely remember the first goal and still trying to jog on my memory, so I'm maybe starting filling in the blanks myself. Aye, that was the second. Like it felt a bit cheap.
Yes.
And it's funny to describe. To me, it seems funny or odd to describe it as cheap when we had as much of a cock up as we did for the third. I think. See, if I was to try and summarise the game again, I would just say that we are our own worst enemy at times. Like I think the 3 goals were entirely within our control and are down to individual and then collective mistakes.
I'm not sure what the goalie's did.
I was asking that, Colin. Do you think the goalkeeper has a role to play in the second one?
Aye.
Yeah, expand.
I don't know what he's did. Well, he's come off his line, but then he'd no went to, like, he's kind of got her halfway out. So if he stays back, then he's just picking that up. Well, there was no power on it because of the angle and all that. I'm thinking, well, what are you doing? Like, when Kingdom runs out, you can see the defenders running back. It's not like he's thinking, "Oh, come and get this." Like, clearly the defenders there. I'm just not sure what his thought process was.
He made Maida's mind up, didn't he, for how Maida was going to deal with it when he got onto the ball. There was, so again, there's the same question mark about that concentration as well, because think I can't mind off the top of my head whether it's Ekpiteta that's chasing back or if it's Rocky. For the position, because they were getting pulled about the place at this point as well, because Celtic's movement was really good, so our centre halves were getting pulled about. But you have that same question about the concentration, about sort of understanding where Maeda is and where you need to be as a centre half to not let him get in behind you. Brendan Rodgers was talking after the game about just basically about how the quality the team, right, and what he's asking them to do. And he says the counter press was our playmaker. We have a lot of the ball, but when we lose it, we have to go after it with everything we have. With everything we have. He emphasised that, but he said it twice. And basically, that's his. It's the work ethic, but isn't it? It's like this is what you need to put into the game in order for the system to work. You don't have to put everything into it when we lose the ball. I think that was obviously there's a quality difference, but I think that's one of the fundamental differences with how we play against Celtic and how they play against us, is that movement and that desire and willingness to kind of either chase something down. You saw it with the third goal. Like, you look at the intensity of their press, right, which was a fairly basic press, but they did it with purpose. Compare that with when we pressed them, and we had the players sort of jogging out to the player on the ball, and then watching as they moved it on, and just sort of like there was that we never got close to any of them, like to close it down or anything like that, whereas Celtic did. And I think that's something that Hibs players need to look at and go, right, that's on us. I think when you get told how to press or shoot, or when they say that's what we're doing, if your opponent's working that hard, you have to work that hard as well. Otherwise, you see what happens today.
Are we saying that the vast financial gulf has no bearing on a player's stamina and like ability to maintain that press? Because I think that's something that Celtic. But why not?
No, because you didn't need to be good at football to be able to do that.
No, you don't need to be good at football to be able to run. But this is what I'm asking. Like, Celtic are, and other teams like above Celtic are able to buy a certain calibre of player. So Celtic will be able to afford a player that has a greater stamina and quality. And similarly, you would imagine, I would think, that someone like Man City, for example, are able to afford a better quality player, albeit the difference between the two might be much smaller.
So it does come into it. Like, there is an element of that. Like, when you look at the elite players, they're all physically elite as well. You know, you don't get like there's no slouches in the Man City team, for example. They're all quick, they'll have a good first touch and they'll have the work rate, etc., that goes along with it, because that's what's required to be at that level. And as you drop down, but again, are you born with it, or do you develop it? And I suppose that's the question, and it's how. What are the demands you put on yourself as an individual to get to that level?
I'm thinking about the Olympics that have just passed, and how there's folk there that are competing at Olympic level, and there's folk that are out running in the park, you know, on a Saturday morning. Like, I don't think so. The guy that's running in the park, there's a number of different things that will play a part in whether they make it to Olympic level or not. Like, some people are just genetically like much better, and I wonder if that's what. I don't mean it to sound like I'm trying to offer excuses or whatever. I'm trying to think of the possible reasons why. Like, I accept what you were saying about players jogging out for a press or whatever. Is that a 90-minute thing? Is that just like a 5-minute burst thing? Is it something that they don't do throughout the game because they can't maintain it for the entire game? I don't know. I'm thinking out loud.
I don't know. Like, so without knowing what's possible, what's no way, like, because you get it right. So not everybody can be Usain Bolt. Like, they can all train in the same amount of time as Usain Bolt. They can maybe lift the weights that he lifts and, you know, try to copy his style, but he runs faster than, well, probably not now, but they can if he's still a runner. But do you know what I mean? Like folk weren't slower than him because they weren't trying hard.
Aye.
I get the point that you're making. There are differences. You know, people do have a sort of natural ability. I would challenge it though. I would say that it goes back to Lee Johnson's. Would you have run faster if you were getting chased by a tiger or a lion, whatever the fuck it was? And the answer was, yeah, probably could have done. That's the attitude. They need to run like they're being chased by fucking lions or whatever.
Bring back LG.
Bring back LG.
I know this is.
Do you know what I mean? Like and the more you do it, the problem is Celtic do that every week, and so they're used to it. They train like that, and that's the standard that they've set, and they bring players in. So not every player that goes like when you heard like invariably a player will go for Hibs to Celtic, whether it's Scott Allen or Derek Raglan or Scott Brown, and they talk about how the training's much harder. Right now, when they're at Hibs, they're not playing at Celtic's level, but they go into that and then they train harder and they get better, and then they're able to do it. So you can coach it. You can bring them up to that level.
Because we got pissed off at it. We spoke about that before. Even Whittaker and that going to Rangers saying it as well, and it's like, fuck's sake, why did they not do that fucking Hibs then?
Do you remember when Hibs did it though? And everyone went to Rod Petrie so cement eyes fucking training us too hard.
I know.
So again, I don't know how much that kind of resonates today, but I wonder if you can, like, if you're at Celtic, for example, and you're getting paid, I don't know, however much, do you just automatically train harder because the demands are there because you want to maintain that salary? Whereas the guy at Hibs goes, well, why am I fucking training harder? And I know
a wee bit more unprofessional, maybe, because that's what we spoke to somebody. Well, I think it was off here. We spoke to somebody. Remember, and that came up about the lower leagues and stuff. So it is willing. There's willingness involved in that as well. Willing, but also, fuck, I'm not getting paid enough money to do that. Maybe there is a bit of that. Even though they're not going a bad wage Hibs.
There's also this, like, the standards that are set. Like if you go back to, like, for example, we had Lewis Stevenson on. So Lewis Stevenson was at the club when John Collins' revolt happened, and he was at the club when we got relegated, and he was talking about the shift in attitude and culture at the club when folk came in that started setting standards, and it was about you couldn't, like, you wouldn't have got a player in the gym after training. Is what he said, like pre-Stubbs, I think it was, you wouldn't have got players in the gym after training. They would have got the piss taken out of them. I think Lewis Stevenson's exact words were, what they'd have said is, what does this cunt think he's doing? Or who does this cunt think he is? Right? Because they were going to do it over and above what was expected. And then that culture changed, and actually you saw the quality in the team go up because we brought in players like McGregor, McGinn, David Gray. You name it. Like these players came in, set that standard, and everybody came up with them. Now I don't know if that standard is still there, still being set at the club, whether you could still walk into the gym at any point and still got folk in doing extra over and above. But it's that bit about having folk that go in and say, right, if you're coming into a club, this is the level that you need to be at. It was one of the selling points of David Gray, in fact, wasn't it, that he would set these type of standards. And maybe that's the job that he's got in his hands. He's brought new players in, and maybe that's not quite there at the squad yet. But that's what happens when you go to Celtic. They go, this is the bar, and if you're coming in here and you're down there, you need to get up to that level quick, otherwise you're not going to.
And this is Riordan and Allen and that never got a game for that.
Yes, they did the debt. Anyway, I just thought it was an interesting point for Rodgers. Just at that level, it was like, you need to win the ball back with everything you've got, but you see that manifest itself on the pitch. You never see a Celtic player that's just fucking got a cigar out, just strolling about. Whereas you watch Hibs players and we're switching off and no getting runners, and watching players run past them, because that's not the level that they're at. And it might be because the worst players' job, but there is also that wee question mark about, do they want to be at that level of player, and what are they prepared to do to get there?
I think what I'm also trying to get to a point of doing as well is not hammering the club and the players for another season.
No.
And I think I saw a comment earlier for someone saying, like, we need to take into account the fact that 2 of the 3 games that we've played at the start of the season are against the best team in Scotland. And I think perhaps one of the strengths that Celtic have, if nothing else, like, take away like money, quality players, etc. In fact, no, quality players just come into it, is that they will expose your weaknesses and your strengths very, very quickly. And we don't have the same quality to exploit any mistakes that they make. And there was instances of it today where it was just like, it wasn't even, the example was, I think maybe a 5-10 yard pass by Martin Boyle to Joe Newell. I think it was maybe the start of the second half. And it just, I think it overshot Joe Newell a little bit. And it was like, when you have an opportunity, it wasn't necessarily that you're looking there for Joe Newell to play like a killer pass, for example, defence splitting ball or whatever. It was just to maintain possession for a couple of seconds and try and build something. And I think that's the level that's really disappointing, because that is, I think Colin said before, it's a fundamentalist to the ability to be able to make that pass. Because there wasn't any pressure, I don't think there was that press at that point. But that's the differences, like the number of errors that you make and the number of errors that the opposition exploit. They are able to do it and we weren't.
And there's no getting away from the fact Celtic are levels above Hibs. And they are. And we were massive underdogs going into these games, and like every team in Scotland now, it's not even like there's the big two. There's Celtic way out on their own, and then everybody else behind them. Rangers have a bit of gap on, even then, not that much of a gap I'd look at on other teams. But Celtic are, and we'll get further and further ahead with each passing season because of the financial gulf. But we like David Gray did, and he said, you saw how angry he was after the game. You hear his comments, and he's talking about players. No, it's not being acceptable to make the same mistakes, and he'll pick new players if they keep doing it. Then that's it. You need to set the standard. You need to ask for more, because we can't just go and accept that. We're Hibs. We'll know. We can't expect us to go and compete there. You want to go and make me a fist.
You can compete. You might still lose.
And we saw we could compete because we did it for a good chunk of the game. Once we got that goal back, we were well in the game up until we conceded the third. I thought, Nicky Cadden had the chance with the Myko save that just went in.
Myko under that save.
Yeah, that's it, his first save. Cadden had another cross into the back post. Just missed Bowie, and the defender got to it before it fell to, I think it would have been Molotnikov. We created chances, and we got ourselves back into the game, and there were positives there about in the game until we kind of shot ourselves in the foot, and then the game petered away. I just thought like that it was worth discussing that point for Rodgers, and it's not just like run faster, try harder, or anything. There's more to it than that. But I think that you could definitely, and I hope David Gray also asked the question to say like what's the difference, and how do we start to bring these players up towards that level, even if we might not reach it? How do you get them closer to it?
But so I don't know. I'm not quite sure how to ask this question, and it's formulating in my head as I'm speaking. But I think I forget Roger's quote, but he was talking about the players that he has, the system that they want to play. Like they're only able to play that system because they have the means to be able to bring the players in that play that system. So everyone's running about daft, everyone's making runs, space, all that sort of stuff. I think, are we still in a period of trying to work out what sort of way we want to play and the players that we require to do it? Like we're still in that, arguably I think we're still in that transition, and it's been talked about already by Malky Mackay that it's a transition season. There's players that we still need to offload, there's players still coming in, there's players that still aren't fully up to speed, albeit we're 3 weeks into the season. Do we need to give ourselves just a little bit of, I don't know, kind of suck up the difficult times before kind of hopefully getting a little bit better in weeks to come? Because you're talking about there some of the good things that we did, and I think this is possibly the bit I was talking about where like not going down the route of just fucking hammering the players for every mistake, every indiscretion, because there is some good stuff there, and that's an opportunity I think to support them, especially after a rough couple of games. Easter Road next week, Dundee. Hopefully, some of those good things turn into goals, and we don't have the press that puts a player like Ekpitete under pressure, for example. And we could just have a decent 90 minutes of football.
I think like that. So I'm not trying to hammer the players. I just thought it was like an observation. I think the other thing to bear in mind is it speaks to what you were saying there, George. I absolutely agree with you. We do need to give a bit of time. There's a lot of change happened at the club. I think we were on 9 or 10 sign-ins. We went into this game We never had Chris Cadden fully fit. We never had Nicky Cadden fully fit. Bowie wasn't fully fit. Junior Hoylett still has to come into the team. We couldn't play Kwong. Kwon, who's on loan for Celtic, so he can't play against his parent club. So there's 5 players there that would come in early. Yuan, whether he stays or not is another matter, but he's not available for the game. Is another player that would have made a difference to how we played today. So I think there's definitely an argument to say, like, no, write these games off because you have to learn for them. But the 2 of the hardest games we're going to have all season, and we're through them now. The squad's going to be stronger. We're still, I think, going to have signings to come in, and maybe some players to move out. So, and what was the phrase David Gray used last week? Sort of short-term pain for long-term gain. I think that's probably where we are, and it's probably reasonable to say that they go fucking mental overreacting to defeat the Celtic. And I don't think we're overreacting. I think we're just having a wee chat about it. But I thought it was positives the other day as well.
It's almost a wee extra time in the saying, right, we've just done. But it was all, and you know the positive is that none of the 2 of the hardest games of the season, like you say, were 5, 6, 7s, which is the one that sets real negativity.
Aye, that's what happened last season when that happened, when we took a couple of chasings. It happened under Johnson, didn't it? He had a 6, I think. I can't remember Montgomery got at Parkhead, but it was a pretty dull year as well. Was it a 4-1 or something maybe, or a 2-1?
It's a distant memory.
Aye, it's gone. It's like I kind of to try to erase the defeats as quick as I can. Right, let's get the talking points. First one comes from the mental Hibs. Colin, I'll let you take this first one. He says, or they say, it was always going to be a tough ask today, but once again we shot ourselves in the foot. The keeper had a mare for their second and third goals. The second, he should have stood further back and he makes an easy save. Third, he needs to move to the ball and put it in Rose Ed. Calamitous stuff. The third one, do you think he should have come to address the ball rather than let it come across him?
Yeah, I think, I mean, it's not great all round, but I don't think the pass for Ekpiteta is that bad. He seems to be getting the blame for it because he's done a short one probably against it minute, so it's like it's becoming a. And then there was a pass back last week, which didn't directly cause the goal, but the goalie didn't deal with great last week either. I think the goalie's very good with the ball at his feet. If he starts making saves, then I'll go with
the distribution criticism rearing his head again.
I always like, if the goalie makes saves, I'm happy with a goalie makes saves. I'll take the distribution point in it because you could just say, didn't he do it? Yeah. Because I think it's becoming clear that maybe it's not a strong point for him. So let's but he's not making any saves either. So I don't know, but he's the one on loan, eh? Goalie.
Yeah.
So I don't know why the loan players playing ahead of the.
That's a weird way to do it, isn't it? Right, Jordan, you take this one. Resurrection said shambolic defending or just the fact that Celtic are breathtaking going forward. They are on a level of their own. Need to stop fueling the negativity. How many times do you see that side getting beat this season? Let's be realistic, aye.
So what was the first couple of lines? Was it Celtic defensive frailties? Or
yeah, was it shambolic defending or just the fact that Celtic are breathtaking going forward?
I don't know about breathtaking. That feels a little bit OTT. But it was probably a combination of both. Well, like the third one. In fact, let's talk about all three, because I think I said earlier that they were definitely avoidable. The third one was particularly avoidable. But Celtic are very good going forward.
The third one was nothing to do with them go forward.
Yeah. It was just a press, wasn't it? Like I said, they just pressed with a bit of intensity. And
I think it's see a press. Is that just new speak for? Is that new speak for just putting folk under pressure?
Closing down,
closing down the man. Right, okay. Is it just like it is like 1984 where we just replace 3 or 4 words with one? It's fucking bullshit.
It's because they do it in, like together. So while
they hunt in packs, they're like fucking orcas.
While whoever it was chasing down Ekpiteta to force him to pass back, Kuhn was closing in on the goalkeeper because he knew that's where the ball was going, and so he makes the block and the score.
It's a funny one, like when I was thinking about like coaching and the conversation we were having earlier about like coaching and decisions and making better decisions, etc. So I think Ekpiteta's sort of driving out towards the right, and I think he's O'Hara's maybe on the touchline or Miller's on the touchline. But I don't know whether he recognises that there's a bit of closing down of the man. So he opts to do like his wee turn, he goes back and he plays it back to Burslip. I think he's probably taken a better option there by playing it back to Burslip, because it looks like Burslip's a bit more space. And then Burslip makes a cunt of it, doesn't clear it, doesn't do whatever. Whereas actually, originally, if he plays the pass to the boy under pressure, what happens there? Like, probably likely that the ball goes out of play and we didn't concede. It's just, it's mental. Like,
well, I thought it was a bit
like the
crazy.
decisions.
The keeper should sit deal with it, right? Whether that's the right pass for Ekpiteta or not, I'm not sure, because I've not seen it at a sort of wider angle. But we've got a centre half that appears to be good in the ball, and he's one of the ones that aren't involved in the knocking about at the back. The way the fuck, see he dropped to the midfield or something? Because we're playing with the two that you go, well, I don't want them on the ball as much. Like, well, where's the boy that's fucking good at it?
I suppose we spoke about this last week, about whether that was like deliberate for Celtic, that they sort of forced us to that. But that's when we set up like that way. We had Rocky and Bursic in the box to receive the goal kick.
There was only about a minute or two before where he did take it, and Rocky was shouting the clip, and he do it.
Scott Mix said Ekpiteta isn't a footballer, he's a defender. Until we get a midfield that actually want the ball and are willing to drop in to take it and take responsibility for driving us forward, he's going to be exposed week after week, as he will be forced to play the ball. Colin, is that an argument for just no playing it short at the back and being a bit more direct, or do you persevere and hope you can get a midfielder in that can come back and help out?
If you've got players that can do it, do it. We've obviously got the six coming in that we've all been wanting, but I don't know how good he is at football. So, because like some of these guys could just be a tackler, eh? Like
a destroyer.
A destroyer. That's the word. So, I think we look uncomfortable doing it, but I think there is a time for variety. I'm not sure if Celtic away is a time to be. Or we'll draw the press on this.
Experimental.
We'll break the lines, right? Rocky, Ekpiteta, you're good at this. You know what I mean? It just felt fucking crazy to me to be doing it. But then maybe playing St Johnstone or Dundee or Kilmarnock in the next couple of games, maybe that's the right thing to do at home. Because Dundee will be maybe sitting in, but maybe sending Simon Murray to run about daft. Like, we'll draw Simon Murray in and then not go ball past them. But it doesn't feel like Parkhead away. Celtic away, sorry, it's the time to be doing it.
I think the mad thing is, and I suppose maybe by the time we started doing it, because we were only doing it first half, but we gave the ball away so many times through, like John, you pointed to a really good example with Boyle misplacing like a really straightforward pass to Newell, and then we give up possession. But all the time we did this, and we did it last week as well, we spoke about it, you get the ball and they treat it like a hot tie, like they're scared to get the ball, and because they know somebody's going to close them down, so they just fucking get at it, and they'll kick it straight out of play, or they kick it just long to Nibde, or they give it straight back to a Celtic player. I think if you know that's the way the game's going, then they play at the back, because you've seen the way that the team are addressing the ball and dealing with it, so you're just asking for fucking trouble, really. If all game you've been giving the ball away,
it's hard enough.
Did they do it there?
It's hard enough playing Celtic. Without like giving them the ball on the fucking 6 yard line.
John,
I was going to ask about that. I was going to ask about like the Pep Guardiola centre halves coming at the 18-yarder to take by kicks and that. The thinking behind it, I think we've maybe talked about it before, is that if you launch it long, if you take like the sort of traditional goal kick, if you like just hit it long, look for your striker to bring it down. It's what, 50-50 maybe, as to whether you retain the ball or whether you give it back to the opposition. So I think that maybe goes to my point about like simple passes, like make sure that they count, because you're already, as you said, Colin, up against it in terms of what they're going to throw at you.
Aye. Right, Stephen Lumsden said, John, 2 games back-to-back against them was always going to be difficult. They'll dish out much worse than 2-0 or 3-1 to better teams as the season goes on. The self-harming has to stop, though. They're simply not good enough to be fucking around with it. at the back. Right, I think we pretty much just covered that one. Take this one instead, John. This is from Myko. He says, Miller worked hard, little complaint there. Myko scored a terrific goal and showed what he can bring. We did play okay for a bit after we scored, but that group of players is a long, long way off what we need. Right, let's pick out a couple of positives, because we know we haven't talked about Myko's goal, really. Free kick from Martin Boyle. I think Carter Vickers clatters into the back. Kuharevic. We get a free kick. Carter Vickers gets the book in. Cracking ball in. He's timed his one great. Is it Myko? And then his header's first class into the top corner, really. What did you think about it?
Well, I was sat with my mates wee laddie, and he asked how it was that we got the free kick, and I said Carter Vickers, the dirty Bastard, went through the back of Kuharevic, and he laughed. I went, "Oh, you can spell bastard, can you?"
I know I should never spell out Kuharevic, though.
Well, I could, but I didn't want to boast. Did it, sure. No, it was a really good ball for Martin Boyle. I think, and I know I can't remember, someone at the start of the episode said that Boyle didn't really offer much, or he's been a bit off the boil recently, one of the two. But it was a really good cross into the box. And then Kuharevic, he's it's a header that I've not seen from anyone for a while.
It's a brilliant,
like from that sort of distance. I don't think you really appreciate just how good it is until you can see it in slow motion. You see like the sort of the shout cross side, etc. Because he's somehow managed to loop it over the top of the keeper, and he almost kind of connects with it from a diving position, like he was almost diving up the way when he makes contact. And he's pretty much placed it in the far corner. Like, what is it they say? Like, put it back in the direction that it came from, kind of thing. So, really good header.
That's a good header. Like, almost like there was an angle, one of the angles they showed it almost like it went outside the post and came in, like it put a bend on it. Like, just the way the ball was floating. It was a really, really good header. Like, set piece coach has done a great job with the team this season.
It's the set piece.
But
Don't know.
Or maybe did he not get promoted?
I get that. Colin, the point about getting back into the game. So we played okay for a bit, is what Mikey says there. What changed in that period after we scored the goal that enabled us to get back into the game?
So the goal changed the game, right? It was just because it was one of them, like almost a wonder goal, really, yeah, like with the header. Got us back in, gave us a bit of confidence to then think we're still in this, like woke us up a bit. But it didn't last long. You know what I mean? It did, but that's what it was. It was the goal that turned it. Because other than that, I don't know what the stats were. I haven't even looked at the overall stats for the game, but first half stats, we must have been, we were
must have been
miles
similar to last week, say like 70-80 passes to Celtic's 4,000.
Yeah,
I'll bring them up while these are chatting.
That'll be the first half. The first half is probably worse though. Like the second half again, we came into it a wee bit more and we're a bit closer. But I think it's goals that change games and all that, innit? To bring user the cliches, Sky Sports cliches out.
So, right, I'll run through quick run through the stats. Right, Celtic 12 shots to our 4, 7 on target to our 2, possession 61 to 39. I think that's slightly better than last week, wasn't it?
It is.
They look at the passing stats. Last week, remember, there was like a huge golf in number of passes completed. They had more fouls, 13 to our 9, yellow card each, and they had 5 corners to our 2. No offsides in the game at all.
Tried to look at the Kuharevic one, though, eh? Like you're thinking, fucking hell, scored another goal and they're going to chop it off again. Here we go again.
Well, it was interesting because I thought it was just about as offside as Celtic's. Well, I thought Celtic's one was off at first glance, and then obviously the lines out and the lines later on. I'm actually alright with both of those goals being given, even if they were kind of, they hadn't quite drawn the lines right or whatever, because they were close enough that they should be given. Dub said shambolic defending for the 4th game on the trot. So well, so David Gray admits that it's costing us. We're still making the same mistakes and saying the same things after each game. So it's 3 games, 2 against Celtic. do you have? I'll ask you first, and then John, I'll get your view on it. Do you have much criticism of David Gray at this point?
Do I have? I don't think I've criticised him much. I think he changed the team today to be a more defensive team, but like I thought he might have done last week, and he didn't. That would maybe some criticism. Those mistakes for the goals, he sounded as pissed off as me, or more probably. So I think he's seeing that, and I would expect some of them to get, if he's going to follow through with it, to actually bin them now for next week, whoever it is he's blaming, because he never said who, he never named them rightly, but he will have in the changing room, and he will be in the analysis room tomorrow, be picking out and saying this what they've done wrong. I would expect that to see a change there. But at the moment, Celtic home and away in the 3 games, it's St Mirren it's the St Mirren one that's the issue really, that if we had won that St Mirren game and then just lost, not narrowly to Celtic, but not been hammered in either Celtic game, I don't think it would have been as negative, and there would be as much sort of finger pointing going on. So I'm not massively hitting the manager already, not his fucking handful of games in charge.
What about you, John?
Nah, I don't think so. I think it's funny. I think the comment was about the manager saying the same things, which is the same sort of stuff that we heard last season about Mick Montgomery. And I'm sure if you go long enough back in the Longbanger archives, there's probably heard that about Lee Johnson, Sean Maloney, Jack Ross, etc. It's not to say that the person making the comment is wrong. I think it perhaps highlights that the problem at Hibs is bigger and longer standing than David Gray's time in charge. I think what is he? Like, he's had his pre-season, he's had his League Cup, so what, as Colin says, he's had a handful, maybe 8 games in total in charge already.
Competitive,
I think I'll draw in my Nick Montgomery defence here, but if we even contemplate getting rid of David Gray at any point this season, what the fuck, we do properly need to give him a chance. I think we also need to properly give him a chance under the sort of outline that Malky Mackay painted, which is that and I think David Gray mentioned himself about long-term pain. Sorry, short-term pain for long-term gain. Malky Mackay talking about transfers, players in and out, all that sort of stuff. I don't think anyone's saying that it's going to be easy. We'd love it to be better, but I think there's also some realities there that we need to face up to.
Aye, I didn't have any criticism of Gray at the moment. I think he's... Fuck
off. That's a bit foreboding, isn't it?
Yeah, no, but I think the now. So I think what he said, and I tend to agree with, is that we'll get better and we'll get stronger. And I think the point I made earlier about we've brought players in to address issues that aren't yet available to play.
That's right. That is the thing. You look at it and you go, we're still, you're still waiting on 9-10 signings, but half of them aren't playing.
Aye, if we're having these discussions in December, then I think that you can start to kind of look at it a bit more then. I suppose I know enough time for you, John. I think we start to form.
I'm laughing.
I just think you start to form, but I don't expect we will. That's the point I'm making. I think by the time we get there, we start. The squad's had a chance to bed in. I mean, this is the other thing you need to remember. We played Celtic today, and we talked about getting players in early and the benefits. Certainly, we spoke about it. Celtic have barely brought a new player in. That was their team last season, more or less, a new keeper. But I think all the players that played today were there last season, and they're all. And
Does that go to demonstrate perhaps that, provided you build enough team, you didn't really need to make. You don't need lots and lots of signings every window, every year.
Yeah, Liverpool used to do it. See, back in the day when Liverpool dominated, and in fact, you probably take it to say the same about Man United under Ferguson, but it was the revolution every season. They strengthened when they were on top, and they brought a couple of players in, max, each year, and they just improved the team gradually. But they had that consistency of player, and stability that everybody came out they were doing. I mean, you saw Celtic played today like a team that played together for a year and a bit. They knew exactly what they were doing. Like every player was well drilled.
Yeah.
They don't have to think twice about their passes. They're popping the ball about. They're a really, really good team. We'll get there. Like if Gray gets the time and he gets the like a good enough level of player in, we'll get there as well. The team now is new. It's going to take a bit of time to gel, and actually you can probably use that to square off some of the mistakes that they're making as well, because they're still getting used to their teammates, and we're not playing a consistent 11 even week to week yet because players being available or no available.
The reason I was laughing about the December comment, I presume you mean December 2024, not 2025.
Aye.
But I was hoping to take the approach this episode and coming episodes a wee bit more humorously, a wee bit more lighthearted, and to try and be humorous and lighthearted in an atmosphere almost doom and gloom. Fuck knows where my head's going to be at in December.
I think we're at the doom and gloom stage yet. Like I think, see the St Mirren game, like the reaction after that, everybody was going fucking Raj, and it was because we hadn't signed any. Well, we had signed a couple of folk, but we felt like the club were kind of sitting with a thumb up their arse, not really kind of getting anything done. I think if you look at what's happened from that point up to now, clearly steps have been taken to improve things, and you can always like that. That's when you say, well, give them a bit of time. You have to. You can't expect that to be an overnight success.
Yeah.
Right, Malk said, how do we keep ending up with Huddy keepers? Too early to say that these guys are Huddies. I think Bursick covered himself in glory, but I wouldn't say he was a terrible keeper or a great keeper. He's made a couple of good
saves. It's just that it looks like maybe he's just not good with the boy's feet, but he's on there. That's why they're fucking goals.
David Reed said it's going to be a long season.
Is that going to be on your gravestone, Colin?
It's just fucking it's like Man City's got a
goalkeepers for a reason. P.S. I was better than Giant.
Man City's got at Liverpool have got a goalie that can play at field, so I said everybody's better have a fucking ball playing goalkeeper. It's like no, they're no. That's why they're in the fucking goals in the first place. That's why they ended up there when they were a laddie.
Mark Fry's image said second and third goals will rightly dominate discussions. At the game, we were better organised than last week, and it felt like we limited their chances. I thought there were points in the second half where we had a counter, but poor decisions ended them. Could do better. And Raymond Gray said, firstly, we need to learn to defend as a unit. 3 weeks in a row, poor pass backs from Marv. Keeper should do better role last week in this. There is no security in front of the back line. Hopefully, Celtic Loney will make a difference. Do you know too much about Kwon that's come in?
It's a minute fancy
Korean, South Korean. Used to play for Celtic in St Mirren.
The St Mirren fans were quite gutted that he came to Hibs. I think they were hopefully getting him back, and he definitely seemed to have quite a good spell there. He didn't play a huge number of games
or something.
Yeah.
8 games, but then I think maybe picked up an injury that curtailed his season. But it didn't really impact St Mirren too much, did it? Because they qualified for Europe.
Exactly right. Stephen says, we've only got time for another couple, right? So we'll rattle through the next few. Stephen said, next week, Cadden's at both full-backs, and I try Miller at centre-half with O'Hora, unless we sign another centre-half, right enough. Would you, if you're David Gray, would you be tapping on Malcolm Mackay's door tomorrow and saying, Malky, delete your WhatsApps, and can we get a new centre-half in?
I think surely a left-sided centre-half must still be on the table somewhere. Like, it just must be. And that would then maybe allow us to try and knock it out of the back a bit, because you'd have O'Hara on one side. And even Miller, if he was a 3 at the back, Miller's more comfortable on the ball. I don't think he's brilliant, but he's more comfortable on the ball than what with them. I think it's like, this is a wee bit frustrating, like, because last season when we were letting loads of goals in, we were getting loads of messages in saying, we just want a big fucking centre-half that's going to just defend. But now we've got one, we're moaning about, we're putting him in positions where he's, like, going to make mistakes because he's not good at that. Just let him go and fucking header the ball away and get rid of the fucking thing. Because that's what, he was playing in League One in England. That is that league. Like, it's the ball in the sky more than it is in the grass. Just go and fucking do that. But if that's what we wanted, if we didn't want that, then we shouldn't have signed him because that's not what he's bringing, right? And that must have been on the profile that when they were recruiting.
It's a funny thing because you look at, obviously Hibs have access to much better sort of scouting information than we do, but a cursory look at the Blackpool forums told you exactly that. Like good at tackles and interceptions and heading and clearing. Didn't give him the ball and expect him to make passes.
So play him in the middle of a back three and just say header it. That's it, right? And then the other two came out to play it. But then you probably want a left-sided one there to help open up the play on that side because we've struggled with that. And as much as I went, what's the fucking difference? It does appear to be a thing. So get a left-sided one, have a whore on the other side, you header the fucking in. That's the job.
Right. Coincidentally, Dave Graham's the next the next message. He said goals come from 3 daft mistakes. Decisions that's his word, decision making from players just need to improve. Your typing needs to improve, Dave. Is it as simple as that? Just better decisions, we didn't lose the game.
Well, it maybe stops 8 goals, but they would have probably found another way. Like they are better than us, but I mean, there's better decisions would have saved the second and the third goal, and the first one probably isn't a decision. It's like being switched. Well, unless he decided I'm not fucking running,
it is.
Then isn't a decision that caused that one.
Right, last one comes to Dave Thompson. John, you can take this one. He says, I think the new signings will see us improve over the next few weeks. Celtic show your deficiencies if we didn't already know. Let's move on and put the last 2 games behind us. Next week will be a better measure of our squad.
Is that a statement or a question?
It is a statement, but what do you think of that statement?
I agree wholeheartedly. I think it's been I think we maybe hope to pick up points against St Mirren, although I seem to recall saying that I would have taken a point given that they finished the season much better than us last year. Yeah. And I think that they were probably a better team. They were. I wasn't really familiar with their transfer movements in the transfer market, etc. But I was familiar with ours, which was that we were still doing stuff right up until and continue to do now that the season started. The last 2 games, I wasn't really expecting much for Celtic. We haven't got the absolute gubbing or pumping that some folk predicted that we would get. So I draw a line under them and start preparing for Dundee, because I think, albeit they're in a similar position to St Mirren in terms of they finished the season much better than us last year, you'd maybe look at that and go, game at home, backing in the support, opportunity to pick up 3 points, get a little bit of a feel-good factor going, and take that into Kilmarnock, who have been stuttering a wee bit outside of Europe. Well, domestically, doing all right in Europe.
So I think on extra time, which if you're a subscriber, we're going to record that on Tuesday night rather than Monday this week, just for reasons. We're going to have a look at the Dundee game and the Kilmarnock games, because they're the 2 very important ones that come up, and we probably spend a bit more time than we've got tonight to dive into them. Dundee certainly seem to be flying. I think they scored 6 yesterday. Seem to be like a team playing with a lot of confidence at the moment, so not going to be easy. Right, just to wrap up on sort of laughing at other folks' misfortunes, Falkirk Hearts, what did you think there?
You watch it?
I caught it when for 1-0 down. I turned over when it was 1-0.
I was out in the afternoon. I seen the end of the first half and the whole second half, but I actually deliberately came home to watch it because I was in the car and I was listening to Radio Scotland, and fuck me, they love themselves. They were giving it the Robbo. Hearts got about 26 to 28. I think it was numbers they said. Could be correct on that, but it was high 20s, mid 20s to high 20s. The players that first team players, any one of them could play. They feel, and you wouldn't see a noticeable difference in the team and blah blah blah. And I was like, fucking, I'm going to even watch this because you can't make that many changes in fucking.
No, well, as we know,
aye. And I thought that there's a chance here because Falkirk will fancy it. And they did, and Hearts were in it.
Yes.
And they even tried to not play Shankland in an attempt to knock up time in case they sell him the next week or two. No.
It was when it was 1-0 foul chance. I normally I tend to just not really pay much attention. I was grown with him. unless something hilarious is about to happen. I was like,
That's why I put on. I genuinely fancied it after hearing them bumming themselves up again, just like Dan did it. But again though, Craig Gordon try to do the pep stuff at the back, and you go, Craig Gordon always be shite at football. Always be shite. If it was a brilliant goalie, shite at football. Then he came the ball at his feet. Then he did.
and John, the Rangers celebrations post game yesterday, they've maybe no won at Hampden for a wee while. I don't know what the script is there, but they went a wee bit, would you say, overboard for a 1-0 win against St Johnstone in the last 16. It was fucking bonkers. They were climbing over the managers climbing over the advertising boards, and they're bouncing about in front of their fans after. I thought, fucking, the Queen will be spinning her grave. Well, she would be if she fucking gave a shit about them. If she liked football and actually was bothered about Rangers, she would have been spinning her grave. But I didn't actually like football, and she certainly didn't give a fuck about them.
See the clip they showed? I thought that was one of the Celtic Sons things, like he had actually imposed that on. That's actually genuine. It was Premier Sports tweeted it.
It was real. So I was like, is that right? And then I watched it, I was like, fucking hell. Anthony used maybe back for him. Anyway, right, we got beat, so can't go shouting too much about everybody else. We'll take it on the chin. Still have a bit of a laugh. Back on Tuesday with extra time, as I said, a day late with that, so it will be coming. If you're seeing your players, that's why it will be there on Tuesday night. In the meantime, thanks for sending in your talking points. Sorry if we didn't get to them. If you don't already, go follow us on YouTube, etc. And we will see you next time.
Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee. I don't drink what I know